Ready. Good morning, everyone. Oh, look, I think I'm live. Yes, there I am. Righty ho. I'll just make sure that you can all see me. Hi, everyone. We're live. Just putting a comment into the live so that you can all see me and come and check us out. If you are joining live, please give me a like and a love. I can see one person watching, and maybe that's me. How are you all? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Bit of a last minute impromptu training today because just having a few conversations with some people are really starting to sort of express some concern and some struggle about getting through the holiday season. And yes, this is a challenging part of the year for so many of us. Hi, Margaret. Glad that you're here. I saw your comment in the post that I made, and we'll address that today because yes, this environment that we live in, our current food environment is not set up for our success. And we want to make sure that we've got some really good tools and strategies to be able to stick to our guns and enjoy the holiday season, reduce our stress levels, enjoy the celebrations, but without really ruining all the hard work that we've done throughout the year. That can happen pretty damn quickly, especially if you have had weight on your body in the past. If you've already been through a weight loss journey, your body still has those fat cells. And so when you start to go back to old habits, eating high fat foods or sugary foods, inflammatory foods, your body stores body fat so much faster than somebody who has not put on the weight. This is why some people can, you know, eat what they want. Some slim people can eat what they want at this time of year and not struggle with their weight. It's because they've never had a weight problem. So they don't have the fat cells. Their body has a high metabolism. So if you have lost weight in the past, your body still has those fat cells. They're just emptied now, but they're just ready and waiting to suck up all those extra calories that you're putting into your body. And for me, Christmas was always in the past, it was a really challenging time. Even after I'd gotten to my weight loss goals, it was, it's a time of a lot of food, a lot of sweets. People are giving food and sweets as gifts. When I was in corporate, we would get these massive baskets of, food and alcohol and snacky things. And of course, we all had to share in those, didn't we? We had to divvy them up, and none of them were actually really healthy foods. And usually I ended up with a bottle of wine. And so, we've got the food, we've got the alcohol, we've got the parties, it's just everywhere. It's like a time of year when we've learned that we can just like throw all of our health aside, relax and let our hair down. And unfortunately, a lot of the time that means putting our health aside. So, and I know I used to get to that like New Year period, and I'd be looking back on my last New Year's resolutions, and part of it was like clean up my health, and get to my ideal weight. And then I'd get to New Year and I'd be feeling like I just needed a detox and a detox from the party season. And, I hadn't progressed with my weight loss goals really because I'd been faffing around all year. And then it came to Christmas and then I was just putting on again. So it was kind of this compounding effect throughout the year. Hi, Beck. Good to see you watching as well. And so, what would happen for me is I would then, go into that new year again going, oh my God, this year, I promise I'm going to be good this year. I'm going to get to my goals. I'm going to lose that weight once for all. We're going to go hard. January 1, I'll be out there. Oh, go hard. Yeah. And by February, I was off the track. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for watching. Give us a like and a love. And if anyone's watching back on replay, type in #replay. I want to know that you're watching as well. So yes, it's a very tricky time for us. Plus, it can also be a difficult time to navigate, handling other people's expectations, other people's discomfort with the way that we eat. If we're doing this, hi Kathy, good to see you. if we're doing this for the first time, like if we're not fully comfortable, hey, Ellen, if we're not fully comfortable yet with being plant-based, with being whole food plant-based, with being vegan, or however you define yourself, if we are, if it's fairly new to us, we can have all sorts of like triggering comments from people out there who, just make all these snarky comments about what we are or are not eating. And there's all sorts of questions that come up. Remember, I once had a client whose I think father-in-law just dangled a piece of meat in front of her face, like taunting her because she wasn't eating it. And that sort of thing's not really fair. So I'm going to touch on how you deal with that sort of stuff as well. And what else I'm going to do? We're going to also talk about just reducing stress in general at this time of year. It's go, go, go. Not only do we have all the parties, for those of you with kids or grandkids, you've got all the school plays and things like that. You've got all the school activities and school winding up, and then you've got to look after the kids when they're on holiday, and then you've got Christmas shopping, and you've got to visit relatives, and you've got it's like and then you've got all the Christmas Day organizing and stuff to do, and it just feels like it's stress upon stress upon stress. So I'm going to talk you through how to deal with the general stress of this time of year as well. So we'll get into it in a moment, but yes, I know there's probably a whole heap of new people here who haven't seen me before, so welcome to my group, Plant-Based Health and Weight Loss Support. I'm Karen, I'm the Plant Power Coach. I am whole food plant-based certified. I'm also a health coach and life coach, and I basically help people achieve their healthiest selves in body, mind, and soul. Help them achieve their healthiest weight as well. And I've got an amazing, oh, Kathy, yeah, similar experience with people. I see a lot of my clients who are watching at the moment. Hi, Clarissa, good to see you. Yeah, so Kathy, yeah, people judge. People can be assholes. And there's a great new book that's coming out soon. I don't know if it's actually out yet. It might be out in hard copy, but I think the Audible copy is coming out on my birthday, so I'm very much looking forward to it. And that's Let Them by Mel Robbins. So this might be a really good one to get for yourself as well. So I'll talk about that. Anyway, whew, enough talking. I feel dry already. Okay, let's dig in. And by the way, guys, if you have any questions, any particular struggles that you deal with, or anything that is like stressing you out at the moment, things that you're not sure how to cope with, drop it in the comments for me. And if I don't cover it here, then I'll come back and look at the comments and I'll address it for you as well. I've been doing this for some time now. I've learned how to cope with other people's crap. I've learned how to stay true to who I want to be on this journey, but I've also learned how to give myself that little bit of wriggle room so that I can enjoy myself without going fully off the rails. All right, so let's dive in and look at the training. Part one, let's look. The first thing we want to do is get our mindset straight. All action is first driven by our thinking. We always take action based on what our brain is telling us. And we have full control of what we think. Just that sometimes we're letting our brain run in its own direction. And we know that the lower parts of our brain, that's the part of our brain that loves sugar, fat, and salt. It loves ultra processed foods. It loves hyper palatable foods. It also likes familiarity and comfort with what we've already known from the past. It also is the part of our brain that wants everybody to love us, right? So when we have ultra processed foods and that dopamine pleasure that we get from ultra processed foods, oh my God, that part of our brain thinks it's the best part of the best thing for our survival. When we are connected to people and people love us, we feel safe, right? So this part of our brain is always seeking that, but that's not always going to be our life. And this part of our brain, our human prefrontal cortex, needs to get to work to override the crap that this part of our brain is bringing up for us. All right, so let's start with getting your mindset focused in the right direction. Number one, write this down. I want you to anchor to your why. So For those of you who are my clients, Clarissa, Kathy, you've done this. Beck, Lisa, Margaret, everyone else who's watching is my client. Go back to your whys. Go back to the whys spreadsheet that we've done together. And I want you to take a moment to remind yourself of why you started this journey, why it's important for you. And, you know, for many of you, it's about improving your health. It's about increasing your energy. It's about feeling great in your body, achieving that ideal body weight so that you can feel confident in yourself, feel confident in your body, and not feel like you're sitting on the sidelines watching life go by. You're actually engaging in your life. They are the big themes that come through for my clients. So take that deeper. Go back to your whys, where we dug even deeper into those whys to expand out why those things are important to you. Why is it that you want to feel comfortable in your body? Why is it that you want your health? What are you going to be able to do with better health? What are you going to be able to do with more energy? What does that open up for you? So for everyone else, if you haven't watched my whys training, it is here in the group. In fact, I think it might be pinned to the top of the group under the featured section. But if it's not there, you can always go to the guides section under the trainings and just scroll down until you find I think it's called Finding Your Whys. And if you're watching the replay on Instagram, you'll find Finding Your Whys there on Instagram if you just go back and scroll back and find that training. So you need to understand, you need to go back and reconnect to your whys. And you want to keep that in the front and center when you are around things like tempting food. And Margaret, I'm talking to you. Given that was your struggle that you put in the comments. Okay, so for anybody else who is struggling with food temptations at this time, if you go back and look at your why. The second one is to embrace imperfection. Okay, so we all think that we need to be 100% perfect all the time. And Margaret, I'm speaking to you again. So we don't need to be perfect in order to make progress. I want you to focus on the progress that you are making. Now, small wins, they do add up. Okay, so if you have a habit of like just eating all the chips or all the snacks, why don't you set yourself a goal of say, okay, I'm going to allow myself to have a small amount, and then I'm going to be satisfied, and that will do me. All right. Lisa, we talked about this. Hey, Heidi, thanks for joining. Lisa, we talked about this a little while ago when you messaged me and said, oh my God, I just want a piece of cheesecake. And I said, have the sliver of cheesecake. Just have a bite. Have a couple of bites if you want to. And get in touch with how your body feels about that and make a decision from there. Right. And your learning was that, oh, after a few bites of a few things here and there, my body didn't like it. So that's it. Get reconnected with your body. But you can enjoy a little bit. You can enjoy some of the treats if you want to. You just need to be really, really intentional. But honestly, for any of you who feel like once you start, you can't stop, I recommend you don't, right? You know this is a trigger food for you. If you can't stop at a couple, and we know these foods are addictive, but if you know you've got a trigger food, then I recommend you just don't even go there. And rather than seeing it as restriction or deprivation, I want you to go back and remind yourself of what you're giving yourself in that moment. You're giving yourself the gift of health. You're giving yourself the gift of feeling amazing in your body. You're not depriving yourself of unhealthy foods. You're not depriving yourself of treats. You are treating your body with respect. Different way to look at it, hey? And let's get into treating our body with respect as much as possible. Number 3 under mindset is I want you to reframe social pressure. And we will talk about this a little bit more soon, but I want you to just at the core of it, understand that people's reactions to your food choices are about them and not about you. All right? Pardon me. They are starting to feel uncomfortable because your choices are challenging their own habits, their own beliefs. They're now starting to look at themselves and what they're doing for themselves, and they recognize that, oh, I'm not making the healthiest choices. I used to remember years ago when I would be the triggered one around people who were making healthy choices, and kind of like beating myself up on the inside, saying, I couldn't do that. um, and like, ugh, I think they're so healthy. Really, it was just me knowing that I wasn't doing the best thing for myself. And I knew that, like, my intuition was telling me that I could have been doing better for myself, but I wanted to believe that I was doing the best thing for myself. I wanted to believe that, like, I was struggling with my goals because there was something wrong with me. But really, my intuition was telling me, and this is why I was uncomfortable, that I wasn't doing the best for myself and I could have been doing more. So whenever somebody gets like uncomfortable with what you're eating, remember, it's about them getting uncomfortable with their own habits. It's not about you. So, in the wise words of Mel Robbins, let them. We'll talk about that shortly. Okay. All right. So that's your mindset. We're getting your mindset focused in the right direction to start with. Excuse me, late breakfast for me. Part 2. This is some strategies for dealing with non-compliant food. So, as we know, our world is not set up to easily support the whole food plant-based world. Unfortunately, our food environment has changed drastically. What is it? 92% of American diets consist of ultra-processed foods and animal foods. So I think about it's either 6 or 8% is plants. And it's just not enough. So this world, and especially in the US, but the world in general, is just not set up to support us in our health journey. Got to remember this. So you can't just walk into an event and expect to be supported, right? You've got to walk into an event knowing that you are going to have food triggers. So what I want you to do, I want you to plan ahead of time. If you are going to an event or a gathering or something like that, a party, I want you to plan ahead of time what you are going to eat, what you are going to allow yourself to eat, and what you are going to absolutely stay away from. And you're going to honor your plan. Now, if you are going to a gathering where there is going to be food, it's a best idea if you take a dish with you, if you know that there's not going to be anything necessarily compliant, if other people don't eat the way you do. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, it's a very hot day here at the moment, and it's 33 degrees Celsius at 10 a.m. So still a little hay fevery. Okay, so yes, you want to make sure that you are looking after your own food needs. You are taking control of your food needs. Don't just expect that other people are going to look after you, because other people don't necessarily understand the way we eat. Take some dishes that you love and that you can share with other people, because I promise you that once other people start getting into your food, they're going to go, oh my God. So planning ahead. If you would like, if you don't have my Christmas or my festive recipes, type festive below and I will get you the festive recipes. These are my recipes that I usually make every year. Sorry, I'm just writing a note to myself so that I know if someone writes festive, what it means. And also, if you want my planning worksheet, my event planning worksheet, type planning down below and I'll get that for you as well. This is where you can actually plan out what you will and what you will not eat or drink for an event, what you will allow yourself to have, how much you will allow yourself to have, and it gets your brain like focused on, okay, what are my guidelines? What am I doing here? Otherwise, you might go in and just, once you start, you can't stop. So the idea is that you create a plan for yourself. If you want to have a little bit of non-compliant stuff, you allow that, and then you stick to your plan so that you feel like, okay, I've allowed myself to enjoy the season a bit, but I'm not going off the rails because this is not going to become an addictive thing for me. You're actually using your brain to stay on track. So thanks for joining, Carrie. Yeah, so if you want my festive recipes, type festive down the bottom. If you want my planning template or planning worksheet, type planning down the bottom. And that way you can take some festive recipes for yourself on Christmas Day, or you can just plan out your events, your Christmas Day in advance. When you have a plan, you're more likely to stick to it. Okay. Also, with regards to planning, it can be very helpful to actually, if you're going to an event, have a pre-event snack. Now, by this, I mean a green smoothie, a piece of fruit, a salad, something like that, that is rich in fiber, rich in water, that is going to start to create bulk in your stomach and help to fill you up with only about 100 calories or so. So you want to have a nice big salad that feels satisfying. And what that actually does is it helps you to eat less calories at your next meal. So if you have that first, it's like negative pre-calorie loading. So those calories that you eat, they actually, it takes more calories to chew and digest those calories than you actually get. And it actually, because they start to fill you up, they will reduce the amount of calories that you eat subsequent. So if you are planning on tucking into all the snacks, then that can also help to reduce the amount of calorie intake that you're having. Okay, strategy number 2 for dealing with non-compliant food: out of the house, out of the mouth. Keep it out of your home as much as possible. Keep your environment at home clean, right? This is where we spend the majority of our time. And if you've got all sorts of non-compliant food sitting in the cupboard, guess what? You didn't buy it to sit in the cupboard. You bought it to go in here. So keep it out of the house. If you're going to eat non-compliant food, do it outside the house, okay? That way you're limiting the amount of times that you will do it. If it's in the cupboard, it's going to be calling your name. You will not be able to resist. You're going to go back to it time and time again. So just keep your home environment pristine. If you are living with other people who want to eat this stuff, then you must ask for their support. You must ask them to keep this out of the house, or sorry, out of your sight. Ask them to eat it out of the house if you can. Ask them to support you as much as possible. Remember, if you're living with people, especially if they are, family, they love you and they want to support you. They want to do the best for you as well. They want you to be the healthiest version of yourself. So ask them for your support in this. So yeah, if they're bringing non-compliant food that is a trigger food for you, if it's not a trigger food, don't worry about it. Like, if I was living with a meat eater, for example, like bleh, it wouldn't tempt me at all. But somebody, I remember my ex-husband used to like always buy the chocolate biscuits. They were vegan, sure, but he would always buy them, and the chips, and just because he could eat anything he wanted, but they were trigger foods for me. And I would see him chowing down on them, and I'd be like, "Oh, I want my share. I want my half. You're eating all my half." They were trigger foods, so I keep that sort of stuff out of the house. And I only have those. I only have because I've really kind of detoxed my brain and my body from that sort of food. I'm not really tempted anymore when I go out. Chips, yeah, a little bit still, but I'm not like hoeing into them like I used to. So that way I definitely keep my my calories down, and I keep myself at my goal weight, and I'm able to and I keep my environment, my home environment, clean. Like, I don't have any snacky foods here. If I do, I know I will just eat them. So everything needs to be prepared, and I like that. Okay. Okay, so focus on what you can have. Number three, focus on what you can have when it comes to strategies around non-compliant food. So um, I mean, holidays are all about abundance, really. So I want you to make your plant-based options abundant as well. So this is not about restricting yourself and depriving yourself of all the of all the yummy foods. You can have yummy, healthy foods too. Um, if somebody used to make a dish for you that, like you grew up with, and it's just got so many memories for you, see how you can make a version of it that is compliant. This is what I love doing. Um, like for example, a roast for Christmas Day. I found this most delicious roast that is like stuffing. My mum used to make roast turkey. Not that I really liked it much, but the stuffing was amazing. It was breadcrumby, it was herby, and it was delicious. So I found this other roast recipe that mimics the flavor of mum's stuffing. Now the original recipe was covered in a puff pastry. Sure, it was vegan, and for the last few years, I've been doing that for Christmas Day and just Christmas Day alone. But this year, I wanted to go, no, I'm going to find myself a whole food pastry that I can wrap this roast in, so that I can know that I'm not like cheating myself, not like filling my body full of bullshit, pastry on Christmas Day. Why do I need to do that on Christmas Day when I can find a good pastry? And that's what I found. So I've recreated that roast with a whole food compliant pastry, which is delicious. And again, that is in my festive recipes. So again, if you want that, then drop the word festive down below. Alan, thanks for joining us. 90% mental. Yes, 9% in your head. The rest is fiber. Yeah, absolutely. Everything starts with your thinking, right? And we know that our lower part of our brain is a little food addict. It just wants all the dopamine because that all the pleasure that it gets from the food, from the ultra processed foods, says that's the best thing for my survival. But this version of your brain, your smart, logical, sensible, human adult brain knows that that's not the truth. And we need to use this brain to override that addict in the back. Okay. Okay, so you're focusing on what you can have, you're making your recipes abundant, you are, potentially recreating some of your old favorites, but in a whole food healthy way. And make your dishes like colorful and make them look delicious as well. And remember, like, in my world, other people have like pavlova for dessert, or what is it? Pavlova cheesecake, all those sorts of things. I love just a big bowl of fresh berries because we're in summer season. It's hot at the moment. Fresh berries with some mangoes, some pineapple, some grapes, and I love to just drizzle a little bit of cashew cream on the top to make it feel like I'm having my little bit of cream, and maybe a drizzle of maple. And it just feels decadent, but it also is like super healthy. I know that I'm not going to feel bleh after it, which is what I used to when eating a lot of dairy and eating a lot of sugar. So I know that I'm doing my body good if I focus on whole foods. Okay. Does that make sense? That's how we deal with non-compliant food. Anyone got any questions about that? Kathy, I see you want oh yeah, and Clarissa, I see you want the festive recipes. Yep, I'll get those to you. Clarissa, they're also in the portal. If you wanted to have a look at that, just under my recipe, my recipe master. Okay, let's move on to part number 3, which is handling all of those judgments and bullying. Larry, I don't think I said hello and welcome to you watching. Good to have you here. Getting thirsty and hungry while doing this. Okay. So how do we handle other people? Judgments, bullying, it can happen. Some of us have amazing families and some of us don't. Some of us have a few struggles with our family, and or maybe it's not the direct family, maybe it's like distant relatives or something like that. People who are, just like I said, triggered by what you're eating. So how do we deal with it when they're going into this space? First of all, have some responses ready. So when people make comments to you, you don't actually owe anyone an explanation. You don't need to tell them exactly why. You don't need to prove to them that this is the best way to eat and that you're right and they're wrong or whatever it might be. All you need to do is just say why you're doing it. So they're triggered because they're not doing it, right? And so people can start to think, can feel negative about themselves, feel like you're better than them, and they don't like that. They get triggered about that. You're doing better for yourself than they are. And so that's why they're getting triggered. Remember that. So also people tend to think that, if you use the V word, vegan, people tend to feel judged by that word. Because we know the word vegan is an ethic. It's not just about health. So when you're doing it the whole food vegan way, well, you got the ethics on your side and you've got the health on your side. Excuse me. So people feel really, really triggered by that. And so just bring it back to you. This is not about them, or their comment is about them, but you bring your response back to you. Just say, I feel amazing when I eat this way. It works for me, and that's what matters. Yeah. Just say, I felt so much better when I came off all that food. I feel so much better eating whole plants. Or you could say things like, yeah, I've got some health goals right now, and I'm focusing on that. I'm not going to put them aside just because of one day, Christmas Day. You could say things like, I love eating this way. I enjoy eating this way. You don't have to tell them to try it. You don't have to try and encourage them, but talk about the benefits that it's had to you if you've been doing this for a while. Just say, I love eating this way. I feel so good in my body. You could even talk about, if you've had a bit of a transformation, whether it's weight loss, whether it's health improvements, you could say things like, oh, my cholesterol came way down, or my blood pressure came way down, or, my skin problems went away, my sinus problems went away, my achy joints went away. You could just tell them about all these amazing things that happen to you. People light up when they hear that. It's like you become a beacon then. And if other people are feeling in their own body, they might then start to become curious instead. So just, talk about your own body, how you feel eating this way, and that it's just for you, right? That's not for anybody else. If someone pushes you to eat something like food pushes, here, I made this for you, so you have to eat it. And there are a few people like that out there. People feel like they've done all this work for you, and so you should eat it because then you're disrespecting them if you don't. You can just turn around and say, look, thank you so much for your effort. However, I don't eat this food. I'm not eating this food anymore. Simply for my health doctor's orders, if you want to say, health coach's orders, if you want to say, put somebody else in charge, or you can just say, look, no, honestly, I don't, because it interrupts my cholesterol, blood pressure, skin, digestion, whatever it might be, joints. My joints get achy when I eat that way. Just say, look, I'm good with my choices. It's fine. I'll just stick to these plants. It's fine. So it's just bring it back to you and talk about how it's working for you, or how you're doing this for you. It's not about anybody else. Second is manage your emotional triggers. So some people's comments can feel like a bit of an attack, especially when you are using that word vegan, right? Now, just as I said before, recognize that it's their discomfort. They are looking inwards and beating themselves up. They don't know it, but they are. They're feeling worse about themselves. And as human beings, we don't want to feel bad about ourselves. We want to feel good about ourselves. We want to feel like we're doing the best for ourselves. This is why we make excuses for ourselves, because we want to believe that we're doing the best for ourselves. So just breathe when you feel it coming on. Regulate your nervous system. Breathe nice and deeply. And just recognize that they have some compassion for them, actually. Have some compassion that they are feeling uncomfortable right now, and that's okay. Let them feel uncomfortable. And I want you to shift your focus to what you are grateful for. Be grateful for your health. Be grateful for your personal growth. Be grateful for the choices that you are making for yourself, that you are the person who makes healthy choices when nobody else can seem to do that. That's how I manage it. And I feel really proud of myself that I'm able to live in this world surrounded by people who are not doing the same thing as me, and stay true to my path, stay true to who I am and what feels good for me. Everyone else is out there is going to have an opinion, but I feel really proud that I can stay true to who I am and what I want to eat for my health, regardless of what else is out there, regardless of what anybody else says. So come back to choosing you, choosing your health, and choosing your personal growth as well. You can set boundaries with people as well. If somebody is really getting antsy with you, setting a boundary is going to be really important. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They're about teaching people how to treat you. So I'm just writing a comment in my notes here. Yeah. Other people's bullying or negative comments, we don't have to take them. We don't have to sit there and listen to them and feel bad. Like when you set a boundary with somebody, you are literally teaching them how to treat you. And you can say things like, um, you know, I'm here to enjoy the holidays and not debate my food choices. If you want to keep arcing on about my food choices, I'm sorry, I'm just going to get up and walk away. You need to have a consequence if that person keeps overstepping or if that person oversteps your boundary, and you need to follow through on your consequence. It doesn't mean like, shut up or I'll hit you. No, but it's like, um, please don't speak to me that way. I don't appreciate that. And if you choose to speak to me like that again, I'll just need to shut down the conversation and go somewhere else, whatever it might be. Right? You don't have to take bullying and judgment from other people. Like my client who had the meat dangled in her face, she could have said something like, I'm sorry, but I don't find that very respectful. And if you continue to do that, I'm just going to get out and leave. I'm just going to leave the table. I can't remember whose place they were at. I think they were actually at her father-in-law's place. So if that was me, if somebody was like taunting me, dangling food in my face like that, and I couldn't handle it, then I'd be like, sorry, that's not respectful. And if you choose to disrespect me again, I'm just going to get up and leave. So don't be afraid to hold a boundary with somebody. People often don't know they're being assholes. It's just so natural to them. And sometimes they need a little bit of a wake up moment from people to snap them back into being decent human beings again. I mean, I believe that all people underneath are decent human beings. But sometimes people do act like assholes, and that's okay. So one, let them be the asshole if they choose to be, but set your boundary and let them know what is appropriate and what is not for you, and have a consequence if they overstep that line, and follow through on that consequence. All right, does anyone have any questions about dealing with or like judgments, bullying, those sorts of uncomfortable situations? If you do, just drop it in the comments. Hey, Barbara, good to see you. So if you would like, I also have a comebacks worksheet. So some comebacks to some of the common questions, statements, things that people often say, where are you getting your protein? For example, I can't remember how many comebacks now, but there's a whole bunch of them in there. If you want my comebacks worksheet, so that you can prepare yourself for these sorts of conversations, just put comebacks in the comments and I'll get that to you. All right. Part number four. Um, Making food for others without losing your sanity. Okay. So, who was it? It was one of my clients. Um, was making food for other people. Can't remember who it was. So, all right. So if you are having to make food for others, including non-compliant food, um, it doesn't all have to be up to you, by the way. Um, Delegate where possible. You want to eat non-compliant food? Do it yourself. That's a good way to do it. With my family, comebacks, please. Who's that? Uh, Kaz. Yep, sure. I'll send that to you. Hey, Amy. Thanks for joining. So, making food for other people, yeah, delegate where possible. So, for example, in the last few years, when I would go home for Christmas and Mum was sick, Mum used to always, make the Christmas dinner, and I would chip in and make stuff for me, to make sure, I'd do the roast veggies to make sure that I was getting them in my compliant way. Mum would cook a turkey and do the stuffing and all that sort of stuff. And I would just, have, I would make sure that all the other like vegetables and things like that were compliant for me. And then I would take care of my own stuff. But as she got sick, she wasn't cooking anymore. And so I took over the responsibility when I was with the family to make the food. It's like, great, now I get to make everybody eat my food. They loved it. But Dad, my brother, and my nephew would want the turkey. So they would make the turkey. I'm like, fine, you do the turkey and I'll do the rest. So that was fun. And actually last year, not last year, year before when I went home, it was obviously my mum had passed away, and we had myself, my brother, my sister-in-law, and my nephew all went to Dad's beach house over in New Zealand, and we had a family Christmas there at the beach, which was fantastic. And I just, like always, I want to take over the cooking because I'm the one who knows what to make for me. So I take over the cooking, and Dad said, I think we're going to have a vegan Christmas this year. Never, ever, ever in my wildest life did I ever think that Dad would say something like that. But basically, he just couldn't be bothered doing a turkey. It was only going to be for him, my brother, and Marnix. There's no point getting a massive big thing that they're just not going to eat. Um, so um, yeah, so we had a vegan Christmas, and so you never know who is going to be able to share your food and start to enjoy it. So but the first point was like delegating. If other people, if you are doing the majority of the work, the food, you can delegate to other people. It's a big day, like it's a big day to try and organize all of that food. Just delegate it out and see, ask others to bring some dishes as well. Um, if you are doing it all, you can make a mix of plant-based and non-compliant foods. Me personally, I don't, I don't, I don't cook non-compliant food. I do not want animal products. I don't really want the processed foods. I don't want anything like that in my house. Processed food, I'm not quite so like if someone wanted to bring processed food into my house, it's okay. I do not want animal products in my house. So even if I have a barbecue, I don't allow people to bring meat. I will take control of the barbecue and I will pay for it all and I will feed everybody. So I just don't want meat in my environment. But if you are doing that and it's okay with you, it's okay to include some foods for others while you are making your own compliant dishes as well. Like just use your guide and what you're comfortable with, right? There's no right or wrong choice there. And also, this is what I love doing. Use this as an opportunity to showcase how delicious plant-based eating can be. I think this is what I do all the time, and I get such a great response from people, from like just friends that I've cooked at home for, or when I've had like pointing out there, this is my balcony out there, gatherings on the balcony, where like one year I made a taco bar for my birthday, and everyone loved it. Everyone was asking for the recipes, including my cheese sauce recipe. And a couple of years ago, my friends had a bit of a gathering at their place as well. And so I did the taco bar again for that. And yeah, again, everyone was asking for the recipes. So it's amazing. Like I was once on a date with an Italian guy, and and I cooked him my cauliflower cauliflower bolognese. And he said his mother would be proud of it. He just said, I can't believe there's no meat in that. It's made with cauliflower. So, plant-based eating, whole food plant-based eating can be delicious. So this is a beautiful example to show just how delicious it can be. And when you bring out all of those beautiful array of colors to the table, people's eyes just gravitate to it. Like our human eye is programmed to be attracted to vibrant color. That is because we're meant to eat fruits and vegetables, and that vibrant color tells us that the fruit or the vegetable is at its ripest and is most nutritious and it's ready to eat. Whereas creatures like carnivores don't see color as vibrantly. They kind of see in, I don't know how much color they see, but they don't really see in color. They see movement, right? So their eyes are set up so that they can spot little things moving so they can go and kill it, right? Our eyes aren't that fast. Our eyes don't work like that. We're designed to be drawn towards those beautiful, ripe, fresh colors. So inspire your guests with lots of vibrant color. Make it look very tempting. Like, we eat with our eyes first. So if you make things that just look incredible as well as taste incredible, oh my God, you're going to be showcasing this way of eating in a way that is so good that they won't even care that it's whole food plant-based. That's what I love doing anyway. And number 3, so shift your focus. Instead of resenting the process of having to provide food for others, I want you to think about it in terms of sharing. You are sharing your values, your love for others. I love giving people this sort of food because I care about them. I don't want to give people inflammatory foods. I'm not going to cook. I'm not going to cook something for one, I wouldn't even know how to cook it anymore. But I'm not going to cook something for someone I know is going to make them sick, especially if they're already facing health challenges. So like when I went over to see Dad, when he had his back operation, so I had to go back twice this year in May, June, and had a back operation. He had an infection in his spine, and he was in hospital for 6 weeks. And so I was over there to start with for a week, just sort of trying to see what was going on. And he was still in hospital when I came home, and then I went back over when he came out. So I basically helped him out because he was going to be, his mobility was going to be lessened. He wasn't going to be able to drive to start with, and he wasn't going to be able to stand up in the kitchen and make his own food. So I got in that kitchen and I made him a ton of whole food plant-based recipes. And before I left, I did a whole heap of batch cooking to put in the freezer because I knew he still wasn't going to be able to cook for himself for another couple of weeks. So it was probably about 3 weeks. I made him about 3 weeks worth of food. Soups, lasagnas, I made a shepherd's pie. I made it all plant-based, whole food plant-based for him. And because I wanted him to heal, I wanted him to be healthy. He actually came out of hospital 15 kilos lighter because he'd barely been eating. He was on medications most of the time, and he was like drugged out of his head. We'd go in to see him, and my brother and I were really worried that maybe dementia was setting in because he was like so vague. But no, it was just the medications he was on, thankfully. But because of all of that, he wasn't really eating much, and he lost 15 kilos in 6 weeks. And so when he came out, I wanted to keep his health going. He looked good. He looked so much better. He looked so much healthier. He wasn't snoring his head off. And so I wanted to keep his health going. So I wanted to keep it going as long as possible. I wanted to put anti-inflammatory foods into his body so he would heal. Ideally, I would love for him to stay whole food plant-based. Sorry, my bit of wind coming up out there. My umbrella looks like it's going to fall over. But anyway, and I wanted him to be healthy. And so me feeding him this food was about taking care of him. It was about cooking him delicious food that I knew he would eat. He loves my cooking, but also that is me taking care of him, me looking after his health. So if you're cooking food for other people, think about it in that term. Think about it in terms of taking care of your people. Think about it in terms of sharing your love with people, that you are doing the best for them by providing them with healthy foods as much as possible. Kathy, I had a Christmas party with friends on Saturday. I made my food that they could share, but I also made coconut cream raw fish. Okay, for the others. Most people tried my food as well because I had me a type of peace offering and they loved it. Yeah, great. Awesome. Nice work. People do, in fact, I went to a Christmas party a couple of years ago with some friends just around the corner. And it was a potluck, so everyone took some food. And I'm like, right, I'm going to make something that I can just pile into one dish. It's going to be a complete meal in one. And that's going to be fine because I know there's probably going to be nothing else there that I want to eat. And so I made a massive pasta salad. And it was the hit. It was the first thing to disappear. It's like, as soon as the food came out, people were like into it. And I'm like, shit, I better go get some before it all runs out. And everyone was saying it was delicious. And nobody freaking like gave a crap that it was whole food plant-based. They did not even think about it. They just saw it as delicious food and they ate it. Okay, part 5. We've got a race on here. Focus on the joy, not just the food. This is about celebration. This is about connection. This is about being with family. It's not just food. Food is just a part of this event. It's not the whole thing, all right? The holidays are so much more than food. So shift the spotlight. Plan some non-food activities. So do things like playing games. Like Christmas Day for us when we were growing up always used to be about playing games. We would always get a new game of some sort, whether it was a puzzle, jigsaw puzzle, or a board game, or something like petanque. We used to, as a family, we had petanque, and we used to go out in the backyard and play petanque, and then mum and dad ripped up the grass and put down tiles, so we couldn't play petanque there anymore. Yeah, so but yeah, make it about doing some activities that bring everyone together to connect. It could also be like a holiday craft. I remember leading up to Christmas. For me, as a kid, it was always about the artsy, crafty stuff. So mum got us making Christmas decorations. I remember when we lived in Invercargill and we had a big day of making all these Christmas decorations for the tree, and we would cut out little shapes and little stars and things like that from colored cardboard, and then get the glue out and then sprinkle some glitter on top of it. And Dad still have a lot of those Christmas decorations as well. They kept them. And so, getting crafty like that can be a way to, bring joy, especially, if you've got kids or grandkids, taking the holidays away from being about food and crap to doing something that is like crafty together and creating memories like that. I have such fond memories of getting really crafty around Christmas time. My mother was crafty. She was the artist, and I definitely developed her artistic capabilities as well. Celebrate the connection that you have with people. Like, focus on spending the quality time with your loved ones. Right? The way you show up with your people matters so much more than what's on your plate. Right? Find other areas of life that you connect with. This is what I do with my people. Like, not all my people are vegan or plant-based. So we connect over other things. We have conversations around meaningful things in life. We don't sit there just talking about the food. Nobody really gives a crap about what I eat anymore. Sure, some of my friends just like jokingly give me some shit about being vegan, but they know I can handle it. But it's the conversations that we have are not around food. So we just talk about other things that are meaningful to us, and we have connection because of other things in life. Like, we never really connected because of what we were eating. I've eaten differently to most of my friends most of my life. So yeah, just remember, your friends are not your friends because you eat the same thing. Your friends are your friends, or your family because you have other things in common too. So focus on connection that you have in other areas of your life. And I want you to visualize success. I want you to imagine yourself at the end of the holidays, like go into this holiday season. I know we're already most of the way through it, but just imagine yourself at the end feeling proud of your choices, feeling good in your body. Imagine getting to the end of Christmas Day and you haven't overstuffed yourself. You don't feel like you're going into a food coma. All right, just imagine that, you've just eaten lots of delicious, healthy plants, and you are the one with all the energy at the end of the day, and you've got energy to go out for some exercise the next morning. And just, picture how amazing that you'll feel staying aligned with your health goals, because this is who you are. It's not just about what you do. Step into being that healthy version of yourself, right? It's only a person who doesn't see themselves as healthy, who still sees themselves as a food addict, who can't imagine what it's like to feel healthy and be the healthy version of themselves. So step into being that healthy version of yourself, somebody who doesn't give a crap about eating crap. So if you think about it like this too, someone who's a non-smoker doesn't sit there desiring a cigarette, do they? No, right? So be that version of yourself with food. Be that person who doesn't sit there drooling over crappy food. Be that person who's proud to choose the fruit or the vegetables over the chips and the sweets. Okay? That is when you know you are on your way to success. Yeah, when you just like be the healthy person. So the holidays don't have to derail you food-wise. They're an opportunity for you to grow stronger in your commitment to yourself and your health. And like I say, become that version of you that you want to be, right? Achieving your goal doesn't just mean doing a different thing. It means you becoming the person who is capable of sustaining the goal, right? I want you to be prepared. I want you to plan ahead of time. Stay confident in yourself and your choices. And most importantly, go out and enjoy the season. Enjoy the season, connect with people in other ways than food, all right? Um, so I want you to just write down 3 specific ways that you're going to stay plant-powered or stay focused on your health goals this season. What are 3 things that you are going to do to make sure that you stay on track with your healthy plant-based eating this holidays? And just finally, let's talk about coping with the general stress of the season. So holidays can feel overwhelming. It is a very stressful time of year between like all the events, the shopping, the cooking, the managing everybody else's needs. It's easy for us to get like bogged down and, feel like, oh, I remember when I was working in retail buying, this time of year was just like manic. It was, the Christmas retail period is where retailers make the majority of their sales and their profit. So you had to get this period of time right in order to make your yearly sales and profit budgets. And so, it was very stressful if the sales weren't coming in. Oh my God, the replanning and the getting everything done, like trying to work as fast as you possibly could, it was manic. And I remember, I'd get to the end of the year, just feel like, sorry, get to the holiday season and just go, oh my God, I'm exhausted. And oftentimes I try to soothe myself with a bottle of wine. Um, and so, it is stressful, whether it's, what you've got on at work, whether it's, all the events and the shopping and looking after everybody else's needs. It is stressful. So how do we make this time of this period feel less stressful so that we can just get through it without turning to the food, the alcohol, whatever, to try and calm us down and numb ourselves? First of all, is prioritize like a pro. As Santa does, make a list and check it twice, right? Write down everything that you need to do. This is what I love doing. I'm a list maker. Write down everything that you need to do and then just prioritize them. What actually matters? And let go of the everything needs to be perfect mindset, and just simplify. What are the things that actually need to get done? And what are the things that need to get done first? Let's work on those first. If it's not important and it's not urgent, just put it aside, right? It's okay. The other thing you can do is delegate. Like, who else can you throw stuff to? You don't have to do it all, remember? Family members, friends, whoever, whatever they can pitch in with things like cooking and shopping, wrapping, where you can, just ask for people's support and start early. Not like me in my Christmas shopping, although I did buy a couple of things last night. Tackle small tasks each day rather than scrambling last minute. When you do it, like I say, small improvements create big wins, right? If you just start early with all the things that you've got to do and just chip away at it, you'll get it done in no time. Whereas what we tend to do is we see all the big list of things we've got to do, we get overwhelmed, and then we don't do anything. And then it just gets later and later and doesn't help us. So we get more and more stressed. So just chip away at it. Decide what, 2 or 3 things or 1 or 2 things that you're going to do each day, and that will help you get forward, that will help you move forwards, and just tick those things off the list. You'll feel like you're making progress. You'll feel less stressed. You'll feel less overwhelmed, and you'll feel like you're actually getting somewhere. Set healthy boundaries. It's okay to say no. You don't have to go to everything. You don't have to go to, every event or meeting. You don't have to meet everybody else's demands. You want to protect your time and your energy. And you can just say, thanks for inviting me, but I can't make it this time. It's okay. You don't have to tell people why. You don't have to make up a lie to say, oh, sorry, I've got something on. You don't have to say that. You just say, sorry, I can't make it this time. It's okay. Schedule some downtime for yourself as well. Make sure you are protecting your body's need to replenish, right? So block out some of that non-negotiable time for you. Make it without food. Don't have your downtime, your relaxing time be with food, right? You just need to take some moments, even if it's just 10 minutes out of your day, just to breathe mindfully, stretch, have a cup of tea, sit outside on the balcony. It's what I do sometimes. I just go, right, I just need a break outside. I'm just going to enjoy the sunshine and the fresh air. Take it all in, calm the nervous system, and then you can get back to it. So make sure you are taking those moments for yourself to reconnect to yourself, calm that nervous system down, and you will feel like you're in so much more control. It's when our stress response is activated that we feel like we're totally out of control. Why? Because this brain is not in control. This brain is, and this one doesn't know what to do. This one does. Smart, conscious, adult human brain has got all the answers for you, right? But oftentimes our stress levels are so high that this one is shut down. That's what happens. When our stress levels are high, our smart, logical, adult thinking brain shuts down. So when you feel like you're in that space, regulate your nervous system. Take a few minutes, go and do some deep breathing. And you'll realize you've got all the answers in here. Get back to it. Okay, practice mindful moments. That's pretty much what I was just talking about, wasn't it? Yeah, stress thrives when we are just going from one thing to the next. Okay, so we do want to just slow down. Even as you're going through your like crazy busy day, just breathe. Just pause and breathe. We have to breathe every moment of every day. We do not breathe. So I want you to just take a moment to just check in on your breathing. Where are you breathing? You're breathing shallow up into your chest, or you're breathing deep and down into your diaphragm. I want you to take that shallow breath and I want you to push it down into your diaphragm. You can do some box breathing if you like. Breathing in for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, hold for 4, or any specific number of counts. You can do 5, 5, 7, do 4, 4, 4, 4, whatever you like. But it's that purposeful, slow, deep diaphragmatic breathing that will help to reset your nervous system. And you can ground yourself. So just notice 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. This brings just all of your awareness, all of your thinking out of your brain and gets it focused on your senses, on your body, right? That just shuts down all the stressful thinking and has you reconnect to your body. right? Pulls you out of the chaos and into the present moment. So that's a great way to ground yourself. Or if you can, take off your shoes and go and walk out in nature. Get yourself on the grass. All right. Remember to move your body as well. Remember, stress and exercise and movement is a great stress buster. Even just a 10-minute walk outside just to get away from what you're doing, clear your head, release tension. It helps. Everything helps. Move, 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 move. This is very, very important during busy times of the year. Unfortunately, most of us are putting our movement aside to try and cope with the stress and the busyness of this time of the year. No, 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 no. Don't do that. When you exercise, when you do take that time for movement, you are going to be able to cope with the stress and the busyness so much better. Back in my retail days when I was working for Maya, 10-hour days, I wasn't taking a lunch break. Told myself I had no time. But I would start every morning with a gym workout and I felt great. I was like pumping it, and then I was like hitting the desk, like raring to go, right? I was in a great mood. I felt great. And if I had a morning where I couldn't work out first, then by lunchtime I'd be like wanting to tear someone's hair out. And thankfully, on those days, I knew if I wasn't working out in the morning, that I'd take my gym gear and go work out at lunchtime. And that just made me feel so much better. Like it just helped burn off all the stress. But I highly recommend that you do your movement, your exercise first thing, so it's out of the way and you're setting yourself up for a great day to start with. All right. So just remember that exercise is a fantastic way to burn off stress. And if you want to drown out the freaking holiday music, put your headphones in. Who wants to drown out Christmas carols? Yeah, put on your favorite music and just get whatever's going to get you pumping. Do that. Protect your sleep. That's another really important one over this time of year as well. A lack of sleep just amplifies and makes our stress worse. So make sure that you are sticking to a regular bedtime that is in line with your circadian rhythms. So you're aiming for 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. And, where you can, even at the weekends, even when you are socializing and things like that, try and keep that regular schedule. When we throw ourselves out at the weekend, it's like we give ourselves, it's called social jet lag. Our whole circadian rhythm is thrown out by a couple of hours, and that can really upset our metabolic health. So try and keep that regular bedtime, stick to it, regular bed to bedtime, regular wake up time. Don't have it all over the shop if you can. Yeah, that's going to help you just manage the stressful season so much better. And final note, I just want you to check in with yourself. Each morning, just take it one day at a time. Just ask yourself, what can I do today to help me feel calm and in control? And what can I do today to be my healthiest self? If you set the intention early on, you are training your brain about what is important to you, and remaining calm and in control of your emotions, of your stress levels, and living into your best self, your healthiest self, is going to get you through the season. When you set that intention early on, you have more of a chance of actually making that happen during the day, because your brain now knows that it is a priority for you. All righty, folks. So yes, the holidays can be stressful. They can be busy. There's a lot of food around that is not set up to help us succeed. There are people out there who, are triggered terribly by what we do, but this doesn't mean that you need to sacrifice your health and your goals in order to be able to get through. So let's just review that once more. Oop, lost my notes. 1, you're getting your mindset set for the holidays, right? Go back to your whys, why you're doing this. Make sure that you are connected to the goal to start with. Have some strategies for non-compliant food, like getting it out of sight as much as possible, or just planning ahead for events and things, and then focusing on what you can have. Number 3, when you handle judgments and bullying, have some responses ready to go. And I can give you my comebacks guide if you want that. So have some responses ready and just make it about you and your goals and what feels good to you. And remember that other people's triggers are about them, not you. And set a boundary. If somebody is being an asshole, then set a boundary with them and make sure that they understand how to treat you and what is acceptable treatment and what is not, and have a consequence if they overstep that boundary. Number four, if you're making food for others and you don't want to lose your sanity, like delegate where you can, and cook as much, cook delicious food for them. Get them on board with whole food plant-based eating, delight their taste buds, and then shift your focus around what you about what you're doing. You're sharing with them. Five, you're focusing on the joy and the celebration and the actual celebration of the season, not just the food. This is not just about food. And then number six is just manage those stress levels. You are organizing yourself. You're ticking things off day by day, getting little things done day by day. You are going to set healthy boundaries with people. It's okay to say no. You're going to protect your energy and get some downtime where you need it. You're going to practice mindfulness throughout your day, breathing, pausing, just making sure that your nervous system is calm. You're going to move because that's going to help you burn off the stress, and you're going to get your sleep. You're going to make sure that you are sleeping and you're setting your daily intentions about staying in control, staying emotionally in control, feeling calm, and being your healthiest self. All right, Clarissa, I'll get you that comeback sheet. Awesome. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about that? Any other difficult, challenging situations that you think you might be facing or you feel like you're facing at the moment that I haven't covered yet? Let me know in the comments. And while you're typing that out, if you are typing that out, I'm going to be running my plant-based health kickstart program, 4-week kickstart program, again in January. Haven't set the dates yet. That'll be coming out soon. So this is a really good, a really great program to help you kickstart your health back into shape. So if you have, if you think you're going to fall off the bandwagon, or if you have been off the bandwagon for some time and you're struggling to get back on, or you've decided that fuck it, next year I'm doing this whole food plant-based thing, and you want a way to just kickstart, boom, go straight into it, fully supported. This is a 4-week program that I'm going to be running. We'll run it as a group. And so we will kick off in January, date TBC just at this point in time. I just need to plan that in. There will be group calls. There will be group support. There will be trainings. There will be a private Facebook group. And I give you a full 4-week meal plan, recipes, shopping lists to make it super duper easy for you. This can be a really cool way, really great way to kickstart your health goals, kickstart your weight loss goals, kickstart your plant-based, whole food plant-based eating in a way that is delicious, that takes all the overthinking away from it. Because I know that, when a lot of people transition to this way of eating, the food can, like, we can go a little bit dull with our flavors. Like, we don't really know how to season our food properly. We don't really know how to make delicious food. We're still coming at it with an old mindset of the old way of eating, perhaps. And so having some support and some guidance around what to eat can be really super helpful. So you get all of my recipes, not all of my, you get a 4-week recipe meal plan with the shopping list, and these are some of my favorite meals. And so you're going to be eating my food for 4 weeks, and this is going to really help you to accelerate and just like kickstart those health and weight results for you. Because when you can dive straight into this with a full plan and support, and you start to get fast results, and it can just feel so motivating once you've started to take that action and get the results. It's so motivating just to keep you going. And because you're actually doing it, you've got recipes. All you need to do is follow the recipes. Because you're actually doing it, you're actually like uh, training your nervous system, training your body to know how to do it as well. So all of my recipes are oil free, of course, and so just by cooking these recipes, you'll learn how to cook without oil. So if you are interested in joining that program as we kick off for January, I'm going to give you an early Boxing Day sale. This is normally $297 for the 4 weeks US, that is, and I'm going to give you $100 off for my early Boxing Day Boxing Day sale. So $197 USD for the 4 weeks. So if you are interested in joining that, please write Kickstart down below. And I'll drop down the information for you. You get access to my course. And when I've got the dates sorted out, I'll give you the training map as well as the group call map. And there's a butterfly flying outside. Yeah, I'll get you all the information over the next couple of weeks as we start to head towards the end of the year, and I map out exactly when I'm going to do that. So let me know if you are interested in joining that program, and I will get the information to you. I'm so excited about doing this. We did it last year, and we had a whole heap of people join it last year and had some really great results. And one of my clients actually joined it as well, and she lost 6 pounds in the 4 weeks. She was really stoked with that. So if you'd like to join, if you've been part of this program before too, if you've already got all the resources, but you want to come back in and you want to do the 4 weeks with me, with the group calls, with the group trainings, with the guided support, I will put together a separate price for you because you've already got the pack. I'll put together a separate price for you so that you can join and get the support working with me as well. All right, so just reminding you also of the other guides that I've put out there. So if you want the festive recipes, my festive recipes, write festive. If you want my planning worksheet, so to plan your upcoming events, write planning. And if you want my comebacks worksheet so that you can plan all your witty comebacks for people who like at what you're eating, then write comebacks. And Kickstart if you want information on the Kickstart program. Alrighty, so folks, I'm not seeing any more questions or comments come through about struggles that you're having, so I'm assuming everybody's good. All right, we'll wrap it up there. A bit of a long session today. It was only supposed to be half an hour, but I rabbited it on for a while, so that's okay. All right, team, thank you so much for having me, and I will see you after Christmas, probably. I don't know that I'll be doing another live before Christmas. I might actually do one next Monday. Or maybe Tuesday on my birthday. Or maybe even Christmas Day. Who knows? Anyway, I will see you so much. I'll see you soon, and have a wonderful day.